Going on, everybody? How's everybody out there doing? Welcome back or welcome to the Stephen Connor Show. I'm your host, Stephen Connor. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, hit that post notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a video. I want to apologize for my lengthy absence from this channel. I do apologize, however, I got a lot of videos rolling out. As you can see, this week we got Super Wildcard Weekend. Next week, of course, we have the divisional round, AFC, NFC Championship, and the Super Bowl following all of that. I also have a lot of topics I want to discuss. I want to discuss the College Football National Championship. Should have Florida State gotten into the College Football Playoff? I want to talk about some stuff that's happening in the NBA. A lot of coaches changes in the NFL. And not only that, two of the greatest coaches to ever do it. One retired, one has agreed to part ways. Talking about Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. We'll get into that and much more next week and the weeks following that on the Stephen Connor Show. But today we're here for our Super Wildcard Weekend picks. Alrighty, y'all. Without further ado, drop down in the comments section down below your picks for Super Wildcard Weekend. I have a few upsets on here. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I'm so excited. First things first, we're going to start off with the Cleveland Browns versus Houston. Houston is an interesting team to me this year. And I say that because CJ Stroud is a top 10 quarterback, and he just got here. He just got here, and he's already a top 10 quarterback. This man is hands down the rookie of the year. He is the best rookie out of that draft, and he looks absolutely stellar. I was sleeping on this Texans team. I didn't think the Texans team would let alone fight for a playoff spot, let alone win their division, let alone fight for a playoff spot. I thought they would be a lottery team, well, not a lottery team, that's the NBA term. I thought they would be an early pick in the draft, like 2-3. I did not expect them to be this good. However, they have proved me wrong and a lot of other people wrong, and they are absolutely killing it right now. And of course, they win their division. They're one of the three teams that are here because Jacksonville decided to choke away the division. They are one of the three teams that were positively affected by that. Either way, if Jacksonville won or not, they would be in the playoffs. However, they would have been a wild card team, not hosting a home game and a division champion. So shout out to them. Shout out to the coach. Shout out to the rookie quarterback for the amazing season they're having. However, on the other side, you have the Cleveland Browns, who are the 5th seed, who injuries have harmed this team all season long. Whenever it looked up, you had another injury. And these are major injuries to major players. And it started in the very beginning of the season, unfortunately, for this Browns team. However, they decided to, you know what, we're gonna play our hearts out. And they have done that game after game after game. They went and got Joe Flacco. He hadn't played in a year. It didn't look like that. He didn't make some beat. He looked like Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco. He looked like he didn't leave his prime yet. Amari Cooper out here, the second coming of Josh Gordon for these Cleveland Browns fans. And don't forget to mention Myles Garrett and that electrifying Cleveland Browns defense. This Cleveland Brown, their kicker is amazing too. The Browns have suffered major injuries all year, and that is very unfortunate. However, they played Houston. They whooped them earlier this year. However, that was Case Keenum and somebody else, I believe, as their starting quarterback. I do not think that would happen again. However, I do think the Browns will win, but they will win in a very close game. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City is a very beatable team this year. That offense has a lot left to be desired and is very inconsistent. That defense is sneaky good and can give anybody a run for their money. I have zero faith in that offense. I really do. Their wide receivers are not clutch. They're inconsistent. They drop balls. It's a lot of games and a lot of moments they could have clinched games this year or moments they could have won. I've seen where the team absolutely lost because of the offense and them dropping passes. Wide open passes, I might add. A lot of wide open passes were dropped this year. But with that being said, they face a Miami Dolphins team who they already beat this year. I'm going to take into account the weather. It's supposed to be very, very cold in Arrowhead Stadium. I also want to take into account that Miami should be the division champs of the AFC East. However, they failed to seal the deal. And that's because when it matters the most, Tua does not step up. This team does not step up. They fold in very clutch moments. They are missing key players, two of their best defensive players. They're missing Jalen Waddle and Mostert, I believe, on offense. Hopefully they could get them back. I don't know what the timeline is. I don't know what the injury. I just know they're missing in action. With all that coming into account, they really need to rely on Tyreek Hill for a good game. And even if he does have a good game, I just don't have faith in the Dolphins. I think at the end of the day, the Dolphins can get the job done, and I would not be shocked totally if they, keyword shocked totally, keywords, if they do win. However, I have zero faith in that Dolphins team because this is a playoff game. This is a big moment, and like I said, they choke when it matters the most. So does the Chiefs, but I'm gonna give the edge to the Kansas City Chiefs. Moving on to the last game for Super Wildcard Weekend on the AFC side of things, we have the other two teams of the three who positively were impacted by the Jacksonville Jaguars' absolute collapse against the Tennessee Titans, that being the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Mason Rudolph, and the Buffalo Bills. Mason Rudolph is the second coming of Big Ben right now to Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He actually saved them from an atrocious season, and he led them to the playoffs. Of course, they got a couple of lucky things to happen, but they are here, and their fans claim they're here to stay. They're going to run the table. Of course, they played against Baltimore last week, and that game was sloppy, but the weather, it was a division game. And I'll say this, though. Pittsburgh has done good against AFC North people all year. And if they were to move on, I think they would give Baltimore a run for their money. I'm just saying, because TJ might come back. Don't get me wrong. I think they might be able to do it. However, they're running into a red-hot Buffalo Bills team. I have some concerns about this Buffalo Bills team. 1 minute they look like they are one of the greatest teams in football, and then the next moment, Josh Allen and his team are making stupid turnovers and just look like a completely terrible team. They had like a 25% chance once they lost to the Eagles to make the playoffs, and they have not lost a game since. They absolutely ran the table. They are the 2 seed, let alone they shouldn't be in the playoffs, let alone they shouldn't have even won the division and had the opportunity to be the 2 seed. However, they are the 2 seed. They made it this far. And with all that being said, I think Buffalo gets it done, mainly because I think they're the better team. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to it's going to be a low-scoring game, but because TJ Watt isn't there defensively, I think Buffalo will have the edge. And next up, we're moving to the NFC bracket. We have the Philadelphia Eagles as the 5th seed. The 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles. They were 10-1 like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago, I think it was. As the 5 seed once again versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay was written off this year. Baker Mayfield was written off this year. Baker Mayfield has had an outstanding year. He really has. This team looks good. Of course, they struggled against the Panthers last week, but hopefully this week they look really good. Like I said, this is their 3rd straight year winning the division. People wrote them off, and I'm just really happy that they're here. I thought the Saints were going to win the division. Obviously, they did not and went to Tampa Bay. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield should be an MVP. At the very least, comeback player of the year conversation. But he is very, very good. He is very good. Moving on to the Eagles side of things. The Eagles have looked like an absolute shit show. Excuse my language, towards the end of this year. They have looked absolutely terrible, and I have zero faith in this Eagles team. They're banged up. They have a lot of injuries. Jalen Hurts' finger looked absolutely crazy. They've been losing to teams such as the Arizona Cardinals. They got absolutely whipped by the Dallas Cowboys. They got absolutely whipped by the San Francisco 49ers, and they capped off their year by getting blown out by the New York Giants. I have no faith in the Philadelphia Eagles at this point, and I've gone back and forth, and I'm going to go for one of the wildest reaches in recent memory. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Baker, go. I think that this could be a very low-scoring game. This could either be a shootout or a low-scoring game. I don't know which one it would be because both of these teams are very inconsistent. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give the edge to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Moving on to the Green Bay Packers versus the Dallas Cowboys. We them boys, we already know the deal with Dallas. They're the 2 seed this year. It's their year every single year, even though they haven't won the Super Bowl since before I was born. The Cowboys this year, though, this team is really good. I have to admit it. This team is really good. You know, they got saved by the refs 2 weeks ago. But other than that, this team is really, really good. They lose to the Cardinals too. Other than that, though, this team is really good. You know, Dak Prescott is looking like one of the best QBs in the league. CD Lamb has had an absolute amazing year. That defense is really good, and I really like what I'm seeing on the Dallas side. However, the script writers, y'all, we got the face of the Green Bay Packers. Their whole head coach's old team he coached, and we have Jordan Love really shocked me this year. He's playing really good, y'all. And I didn't expect this. I did not expect this young Packers team to make it this far. However, they have been playing their best football of the season over the last couple of weeks. This Dallas team is beatable, especially if you run the ball. And of course, the Green Bay Packers have a great running back in Aaron Jones who could run it down this Cowboys defense throat. However, Dallas has lost 5 games, I believe it is, this year, and all 5 of those games were on the road. It was important that Dallas took home the 2 seed. It's important that they got home field advantage at least until the NFC Championship game if they made it that far, and they have secured that. And with all that being taken into account, Dallas is the better team, and I will be picking the Dallas Cowboys. Moving on to the last game of Super Wildcard Weekend, the script writer finale. We have the LA Rams. The LA Rams versus the Detroit Lions. Stafford versus Goff. Goff versus the Rams. Stafford versus the Dolphins. The script writers really did. These were the 2 first number 1 picks traded for each other, I believe, in NFL history. Or something like that. This game is absolutely going to be insane. The atmosphere, Stafford heading back to Detroit will be absolutely legendary. We knew at the end of last year that Detroit was heading into the right direction. However, I did not expect them to be this good and consistently competing for the 1 seed in the NFC throughout the whole entire season. So shout out to them, shout out to Goff, shout out to that squad. They are, I believe, possibly going to miss out a key person to the offense. I really don't keep up with the Lions, but I believe their starting tight end is hurt, or he's a receiver. I think he's their tight end. I don't know what position he is, but I know he's extremely important. I do not know if he will be playing or not. However, the Rams, the Rams are looking good, boy. They're looking good. They pushed the Ravens to the absolute limits. And Coop and Puka, if it wasn't for CJ, Puka will be the rookie of the year. He is one of the best rookie wide receivers ever and one of the best wide receivers in the league. Him and Coop is a nasty 1-2 punch at wide receiver, him and Cooper Kupp. This game is going to be legendary, like I said. The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. This is going to be a shootout. I give the edge to the LA Rams only because I think they have the better defense, and Detroit's secondary is suspect. And with all that being to account, I think the LA Rams will be moving on, and Matthew Stafford will get the final laugh in Detroit. So my predictions are the Cleveland Browns will be moving on, and they will end up playing the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch. And let's not forget the last time that the Ravens lost was to the well, technically they lost to the Steelers, but the last time they really lost was to the Cleveland Browns. We have the Kansas City Chiefs moving on to face the Buffalo Bills. And then on the NFC side of things, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving on to face the Dallas Cowboys. And then we have the LA Rams moving on to face the San Francisco 49ers in a very good division rivalry matchup. You let me know what your predictions are, whether you agree or disagree with me down in the comment section down below. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Steven Counter out, y'all. Peace.